All right, what is up? We are live Phoenix post race. A lot of stuff to cover, including Martin Truex Jr.'s last run, FedEx gone from the sport, SHR their last race, Kyle Busch the streak ends, Carson Hocevar your rookie of the year, Joey Logano the champion, and top 10. So without further ado, let's jump right into that top 10. Joey Logano wins the race, holds off a hard charging Ryan Blaney at the end of the contest. Blaney might have used up his tires getting past Kyle Larson there and didn't have quite enough at the very end, but it was a valiant effort from Ryan Blaney. Great drive from Joey Logano. Nobody probably better at holding a lead, blocking the lines that he needs to block than Joey Logano, so did everything he needed to do. Another valiant effort here from William Byron. William Byron ends up finishing third, going for his championship here, but just did not have the speed that the two Penske cars had. But he definitely fought really hard there. He held off Ryan Blaney as long as he could, made a charge at Joey Logano, but never could get more than a few car lengths away from him. So good drive from William Byron. Just did not have the speed in the car today. Kyle Larson not in the championship four, but he ends up finishing in fourth place. So the Hendrick cars 3-4, Penske cars 1-2. Then the next spot is going to be your Toyotas. Joe Gibbs Racing's Christopher Bell. He ends up leading the most laps, and that's kind of been the story of Christopher Bell's season. Leads the most laps, but doesn't get the win. So if they can clean that up for next year, they'll be sitting in good shape. But another great run from Christopher Bell. Don't want to take anything away from him at all. Tyler Reddick, you really didn't hear much from the other championship four driver most of the day, but he sort of hung out around the top 10. But once again, much like I was talking about, William Byron just did not have the speed in the car. Bubba Wallace, a seventh place finish there in the Darth Vader Toyota Camry. Columbia also on the side of that. Chase Elliott finishing in eighth place here, and Chris Buescher with a ninth place finish. And then you get to 10th place, Daniel Suarez. So good run for him. Trackhouse continues to show that they have a lot of speed at this track. If they can just get somebody to the final four, maybe they could make something happen one year. Denny Hamlin finishes in 11th place. Aforementioned FedEx leaving that car after this year, so that was the last go round for the FedEx Toyota. Noah Gragson, 12th place finish, looks to be the highest finisher of the Stewart-Haas racing cars. And once again, Stewart-Haas Racing, no longer it will just be Haas factory team next season. Austin Cindric continues his good late season push of finishes with a 13th place finish there. His first year making the playoffs as well. Or was it his first year? No, he made it. He won the Daytona 500. So second year making the playoffs. Alex Bowman finishing in 14th here. Of course, the 48 car underweight, and that's the reason why your champion got into the round of 8, and then eventually, of course, into the round of 4. So 14th place, and Alex Bowman, the 48 team. Obviously, they're not feeling great about today, I would imagine. Feeling like they gave one away. 15th place, Brad Keselowski, and then the rest of your running order is going to be 16th, Harrison Burton. Martin Truex Jr. in his final race gets the 17th place finish. Your rookie of the year, Carson Hocevar, finishing at 18th. Ross Chastain, usually good here, but didn't hear much from him all day today, to be honest with you. 19th place. Todd Gilliland in 20th there with the Boozy Jerky Ford. Kyle Busch in his final attempt to keep the streak going. The streak ends at 19 seasons. 21st place today. Eric Jones, 22nd. Daniel Hemrick, 23rd. Josh Berry, going to be second place in your Rookie of the Year battle in the Texas A&M University Ford in 24th. Derek Kraus, 25th. Jimmy Johnson making another start here in that beautiful Toyota Camry number 84, finishes 26th. Austin Dillon, 27th. Justin Haley, 28th. Chase Briscoe in 29th, John Hunter Nemechek 30th, Michael McDowell in 31st, Corey LaJoie 32nd. So if you're keeping score at home, Justin Haley gets this round in the Justin Haley versus Corey LaJoie trade. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 33rd, Kaz Gralla 34th, JJ Yaley 35th, Chad Fincham 36th, Ryan Priest 37th, Jeb Burton 38th, Zane Smith 39th, and dead last, first place on Earth 2, Ty Gibbs. He hit the wall early, took a heck of a hit. Hopefully he's okay. I know he's going to be sore tomorrow. But last place here today for one, Ty Gibbs. And so, of course, we go to the points. Everybody kind of knows what's going on here, but Joey Logano finishes first. Ryan Blaney is going to be second at -5. William Byron will be third at -6. Tyler Reddick -9 finishes in fourth place. The rest of your top 10 here, however, Christopher Bell is going to be fifth, Kyle Larson sixth, Chase Elliott seventh, Denny Hamlin eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, and Martin Truex Jr. in his final season in Cup finishes 10th place in the points. Not a bad season at all for a final career or a cap end of your career or whatever you want to call it. Austin Cindric finishes 11th in points. Daniel Suarez 12th in points. Brad Keselowski 13th in points. Chase Briscoe 14th in points. 15th in points is going to be Ty Yeezy Gibbs. And Harrison Burton, looking for a ride next season, is going to end up in 16th place, or he might have got one in the Xfinity Series. I don't know. It's been a wild, silly season. I can't remember. But anyway, his last season driving the 21 car finishes in sixth place. And your first driver that didn't make the playoffs is going to be Chris Buescher, followed by Bubba Wallace. Then you got Ross Chastain, who dropped here because of his points penalty and whatnot. He was, I think, right behind Chris Buescher, but Chris Buescher solidly the best car points-wise not to make the playoffs. Then you got Kyle Busch here in 20th. Then you got Carson Hocevar, Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Noah Gragson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, and Eric Jones, followed by Daniel Hemrick in 29th, Zane Smith 30th, Justin Haley 31st, Austin Dillon 32nd. 33rd is going to be Corey LaJoie, and your driver who competed in all of the races this season and finishes dead last. Final CBA, the streak is the year, and Joey Logano is your champion. Up. Show me on the Batman, which is the best option. Happy with the race, good race, bad system, bad race, bad system. I don't like Joey Logano, so I'm 4K. Those are the options. 7% for hating in 4K, 24% for bad race, bad system, 32% good race, bad system, and 37% are just happy with the race overall. 41 votes in as it stands right now. All right, let's jump in here. Let's see. Russell Dominguez laughing. So I typed earlier, we were talking about FedEx leaving, and I said UPS has the chance to do something hilarious, even if it's only for one race. Obviously sponsored the 11 car. And Russell Dominguez laughing about that. I saw on someone's Instagram make up a UPS scheme for Hamlin. Says in between the lanes. Indeed, I saw that too. And that's 100% where that joke came from. So shout out to them. I don't know if it was by Lawn Designs or somebody, but it was somebody on Instagram. I wish I could give credit. For those that keep score of the Winston Cup points at home, Christopher Bell under the old Winston Cup, and this is just for fun. Joey Logano is deserving champion because all the rules were set up at the beginning of the season. Everybody knew the rules at the beginning of the season. Joey Logano's team executed the system better than anybody else this year. So he is the true champion. He is the deserving champion. However, I think it is fair to say that this system has pissed off a lot of people, particularly this season. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this goes over, if NASCAR makes some tweaks to it in the offseason. I know they're not getting rid of the playoffs. I know they've come out and said that, and they said that in the worst way possible. But I think with the guy who finished 15th in points winning the championship, I think a lot of people are in an uproar about it. So we might see a tweak, or we should see, I should say, a tweak to this system. But the rules were the same for everybody at the beginning. So it is what it is. Anyway, Winston Cup points. Christopher Bell wins the Winston Cup's points. He gets one spot here at the end over Chase Elliott, who he beats by 5 points. So it would have been, even in a Winston Cup year, this would have been a crazy finish. William Byron ends up minus 77 in third place. Tyler Reddick, fourth place. Kyle Larson is going to be in fifth place. Ryan Blaney, sixth place. Chris Buescher in seventh. Alex Bowman, 8th, Brad Keselowski 9th, and Denny Hamlin is going to end up in 10th place there. So there you go. There's your, if you keep up with the old Winston Cup points, that's how that would have shaken out in that fantasy world. Let's see. MCDC on Sunday Night Football says in between the lanes. Unfortunately, the Jets lost. BB, they definitely lost. They got pummeled today, no doubt about it. Ryan Fussner saying apathetic here. I was just talking with a buddy this morning. HMS fan here, but rooting for the 45 because it's legitimate, and if the 22 wins, it'll be a farce, says Ryan Fussner. I've seen a lot of people say that, and I think it just goes to show how upset a lot of people are with the system, and I think that's totally fair. I think the system is seriously flawed. I think this is probably the worst system to award a champion in all of sports, and the only reason I'm saying, like, you can't take it away from Joey Logano. Everybody knew the rules at the beginning of the year, so they just executed the rules to this system. So it's one of those, of course, the easy way to say it, don't hate the player, hate the game. Joey Logano just played the game the way it was laid out in front of him better than anybody else. Delmar Kaufman. So, yeah, another good point there, Delmar. Ford gets the win. So Chevrolet wins the manufacturer's championship. Ford wins the Drivers' Championship for the third year in a row. Penske wins the Drivers' Championship for the third year in a row. Third championship overall for Joey Logano, and 3 in a row for Penske. Bad system, but on the bright side, the 49ers won, says Joseph Wooten. Indeed, that was a crazy game with the 49ers. Monster Shot saying, let's go, BB. What's up, Monster Shot? It's always good to see you on here. Rodney Collier, I'm happy with our guy tonight, with my guy tonight. The number 22 says Rodney Collier. Yeah, he did everything he needed to do. And like I said, when he's got a lead, he's the hardest guy in the world to pass. Ask anybody probably that's tried to pass him. So he did what he needed to do tonight. But I do think a lot of people are going to be in their feelings about him winning because he's got a lot of haters for sure. And also just because they don't like this system overall. I was watching the Countdown to Green and they showed Seabell press conference. Never seen him like that. Just quiet, down to earth guy you think of when you think of Seabell, says in between the lanes. Yeah, he's starting to speak up for himself. And he's going to have to step into those roles because, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick's already retired. Denny Hamlin's not going to be there forever. So they're going to have to be some drivers that step in and fill those leadership roles for sure. What's up, Rosie? Good to see you on here, my friend. Rest in peace, Bobby Allison, says Delmer Kaufman. Indeed, we lost Bobby Allison today, so rest in peace to him. Just been a bad year for race car drivers. Former champions. We lost Cale Yarborough this year too, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was this year. It's really close one way or the other. Logano championship with 13 top 10 should really call the system into question, says Team FT. I think the system is going to get a serious look. They'll always have to have a playoff system for as long as the TV deal is structured the way it is, but I think they can really have a better playoff system than they have now. Ford Fever, it's hot, says Shah. Joey just finished watching on race on DVR. He put on a clinic. The other 3, with the exception of Blaney, says Edana. Yeah, so Ryan Blaney had a long run car. It would have been really interesting if there were maybe 10, 15, 20 more laps to the end of this one, because it seemed like Joey Logano, they set his Penske up to have good speed at the front end, and Ryan Blaney, he had good speed right there on the back end. So 15 or 20 laps, it might have been a different story, but there's also an argument to be made that Ryan Blaney trying to pass Kyle Larson clean instead of just bumping him out of the way and getting going there. He burned up his tires trying to pass Kyle Larson clean to get that pass going. So it is what, or if you're from the, I guess the Penske perspective, Kyle Larson was blocking him and he didn't bump him out of the way. I was gonna second. He won Vegas. Logano was gonna win. Can't give a team a 3-week head start and expect competition, says Say Kyle. That's a fair critique, and that's probably a critique of this system that not enough people really make. One guy's got 3 weeks to prepare for the championship, where the rest of the guys have like 1 week or 2 weeks max. Door Bumper Clear had a live stream with Freddie Kraft. That's good. That's cool. I think they need to do more of that. I know they got the teardown probably coming up, or airing probably right now. But I think they need to do more live streams for sure. Got a lot of personalities there, and I think they can all pretty much handle themselves well in a live stream. Rest in peace, Bobby Allison, says William Wagaman. Jelly is just dominant at Phoenix. Jolo is just dominant at Phoenix. He's kind of taken over for Harvick when he used to dominate in the past. And that's pretty much a good argument. I think Phoenix is a great track, especially for the fans that are visiting it. But it's a good argument to rotate where the final race is so that one guy just doesn't dominate at a track. Like, I don't know if it was like if Darlington back in the 70s was where the thing was decided, how many championships would David Pearson have? So it's all kinds of ways to critique the system. Definitely needs a few things tweaked at the very least, if not a complete overhaul. All Penske fans, congrats. We did it again, says MGM. Team FT saying Reddick only championship 4 driver who didn't lead. That's an interesting stat. He did not get up there and lead. So yeah, he was just a little bit off. Like, he didn't have a horrible day, but he just didn't have race winning speed or anything close to it. This championship feels about as rewarding as Joey moving Mark Martin at Pocono for his first win, says Tim Bray. So yeah, a lot of people not happy with the system. And then, of course, a lot of people just not fans of Joey Logano, either AM Racing for Harrison Burton in 2025. I was thinking he went somewhere. I couldn't remember where it was. So, yeah, he does have a ride for next season, but this was his last ride in the 21. Appreciate you picking me up there in between the lanes. See what I did there? In between the lanes, picking me up. Congrats to Penske, says Timber Ace. Indeed. 3 in a row for Penske. They've got Phoenix and this format figured out, I would say. Just like Hendrick back in the chase format had the chase format figured out. The The 7 yesterday was incredible to watch. Xfinity greater than Cup this season, says Ryan Fussner. And that was great. Like it feels like a lifetime achievement award for Allgaier, and I'm glad he finally got a win. Same thing, to be honest with you, in the Truck Series with Majeski there. So I'm glad both of those guys won. It feels like something that should have happened a long time ago. So good for both of those guys. Uh, and yeah, I do feel like for the money for the purchase of the ticket, dollar to race value, the Xfinity Series has put on some amazing races this year. Harrison Burton taking over 15 AM Racing Xfinity Series car, says Jay Ray. Appreciate you picking me up there as well, Jay Ray. Harrison Burton is in the 15 car in Xfinity, so he's probably better off being unemployed, says Joseph Wooten. Yeah, AM Racing has a little bit of work to do there for sure. Dylan wouldn't have finished so poorly if it wasn't for multiple points penalties. That's a fact. But then again, the flip side of that is don't bring those penalties onto yourself, depending on your perspective and point of view on it, of course, at least for one of them. Time to rewatch races to get ready for 2025. It's that time. It's that time of the season. Flip on the YouTube and pick out your favorite races. Congrats to Josephus for winning Rookie of the Year, says Bruce Reed. Indeed, old Josephus getting it done. Carson Hocevar, your Rookie of the Year. Logano finds a way to win in any system, says MGM. Yeah, and I feel like that's probably the fairest comeback to that is if there's a different system, they're going to race a different way in that system. So that's why I say that, but that's just fantasy because if they were racing under that system, in a different way. Great job this year, brother. I haven't missed a podcast yet. Appreciate you there, Aaron. And he's enjoying the Bologna Burger hoodie, he told me earlier today. So I'm glad he's out there enjoying it and rocking it. I'm enjoying mine too because it's finally cooled off enough to put them back on. Let's see. Penske may have won. The Gators got stomped and the Bucks lost to your 49ers. But at least the Magic are about to win. 2-game win streak without Paulo. I have some sort of hope. Magic are going to be good this year. I'm pleased with what I've seen from them so far, and I'm also pleased with the Duke Blue Devils. I'm pleased with what I've seen from them so far. And Kansas and UNC had a heck of a game last night or 2 nights ago as well in college basketball. So it's basketball season for and NFL season for the NASCAR offseason sports fans. BB, I'm guessing with FedEx leaving Joe Gibbs Racing in 2024, does Mavis Tires and Brakes become the primary sponsor? So I think it's going to be a combination there. I think you'll see Mavis Brakes and tires, and I think you'll also see Interstate batteries. I think you'll see Yahoo on the side of that car a little bit. You're going to see Sport Clips there, and then you might see somebody else come in there and jump on. But I think you'll see just a combination of all the other sponsors that sort of share along with the other Joe Gibbs Racing teams. I know he probably will have Sport Clips along with Interstate batteries. There you go. I should have read the second one before answering it. Listening while grilling, one wise guy grilling up some steaks, I believe, if I remember the Discord correctly. Considered how far off the dark horse was at the beginning of the year, does Ford's late season performance carry over to 2025? Oh yeah, for sure. I think Ford and Toyota are sitting in good shape. I think Chevrolet is misleading because of Hendrick. Hendrick Motorsports is just really good. They could figure out how to make a box of Tic Tacs aerodynamic. So you can't go off what Hendrick Motorsports does, but if you look at Trackhouse, if you look at RCR, and if you look at Spire, although they had good races and they had some good finishes, you're starting to see the age on that Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro body because those teams just have not been race-winning speed competitive, with the exception of a race here or there. Daniel Suarez winning his race, Austin Dillon. Before all the kerfuffle and the controversy happened, he had Richmond won before the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. spin. So he had the speed there. But other than those races, that body has looked way off, especially compared to last year. So I would say Ford and Toyota now have a year's worth of test runs by racing it on those bodies. So they're going to be light years ahead of Chevrolet for probably a couple of years while Chevrolet figures out what their new body is going to be and what their new body is going to do. I feel like Chevrolet is close to announcing something though. So I think next year will probably be the last year for the ZL1. Denny the Dork Hamsters, or they might surprise us in the offseason and have something that they've had under wraps that we just don't know about, but we'll find out soon enough. But I would say 2025, without question, would be the last year for the ZL1 body in the Cup Series. Denny the Dork Hamsters, new sponsor is Depends, says William Wagaman. Panthers win 2 straight, says Delmer Kaufman. There you go. Panthers Nation, rise up. Bell is showing personality. It's good, and I'm glad he's doing it too, for sure. I wish more drivers would come out of their shell and not worry about, not worry as much about pissing off corporate entities. Joey is going to end up in the overall most championships list. One more ties Gordon. After that, it's Petty, Earnhardt, and Johnson, says E. Damon Racing. Yeah, so getting 3 is big. I'm with you on that. That's a huge accomplishment, no doubt about it. 25, the format has to go back to overall points and point total for champion. Get rid of the BS playoff format. So many motorsports has total points for champions and constructors, says Ninja Squirrel. I mean, I think a lot of people would be okay with season-long points, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think what a lot of people are pushing for is sort of a chase. Like you qualify for the chase, and then just the best points of those 10 races. You have 10 races to figure out a champion. I think people would be okay with that. I think people would be okay with that system because you have to qualify for the championship. Then you've got 10 races. So if you have one bad race or something like that, you're not all the way out of it. I think that would be okay. BB called it a toss-up with the 22 and the 12, and they finished 1-2. Good call, and I'm pumped, says Monster Shots. Indeed. I mean, that's just what the numbers told me when I was looking at the numbers, and it was just very obvious that, at least numbers-wise, if everything went according to the numbers, that's probably how it was going to play out. And more oftentimes than not, the numbers are accurate, and they panned out like just completely on the money accurate here today. Crazy to think Logano is only 34. He's just now in his prime. May end up with 5 more before it's over. I don't think he can get 7 with the field parity, but 5 is realistic. It's hard to say with this. It just depends on how long they stick with this system, because with this system, somebody could go on a heater. If somebody figures out Phoenix better than everybody else, and then they figure out a way to get to Phoenix better than everybody else, I mean, somebody could put up they could put up Jimmy Johnson type numbers. It's so I don't know. It's just going to depend on how you catch it. But for my money, I don't think the system stays around the way it is much longer. I think there's going to be enough pushback if they don't tweak it in this off season. I think when they see the ratings are down next season, that they'll tweak it then. Penske might not click off big wins during the year, but they absolutely own the championship format. 100% agree with you, E. Damon. They figured out the championship format, much like Hendrick figured out the chase format back in the day. I agree with that 100%. There you go. There's the merch link there from One Wise Guy. He's dropping the merch link there. Yep, those 3 weeks were and always are a big advantage, says James Williamson. I agree. You can't hide from those 3 weeks, man. That's a lot of time to prepare for one race when the other guys are trying to get to that one race. Have they announced the 22 and 12 failed post race yet, and the 24 is the champion yet? Says Kyle. I haven't seen anything official yet. Let me refresh Jayski here and see what they have to say about it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Let's see, driver point standings. Still unofficial according to Jayski. So they're still tearing them down in tech. So we'll see. BB Stan Discord link. So what One Wise Guys dropped the Discord link up there right above the Say Kyle comment. NASCAR can rotate it as far as I'm concerned, and that's on my middle finger, says William Wagaman. So there you go. William Wagaman says they can rotate everything on his middle finger. So there you go. Yaley did a solid job for that equipment. Only lost 6 laps today. Yeah, that's that. It sounds crazy, but that's the best I've seen that car run. Now, is it where you want to run? No, but you got to make improvements and see where you're going race to race. So yeah, that's a good call. That 50 car, it's going to need a lot of help because they want to run a chunk of races next year, and the way that 50 car rolled out today, I think it eventually ended up catching on fire, if I remember the Discord correctly. So the 50 car. Not good. They got a lot of work to do over there if they're going to run a chunk of races next year. 22 and 2024. So proud to be a part of it, says B. Indeed. And the even year thing, I forgot to mention that, I guess, or if I didn't, I'm mentioning it now. The even year mojo continues for Joey Logano. So even years, Joey Logano will contend or win a championship. Larson battling Reddick, and Blaney wasted so much of their time. Reddick didn't have the speed though. Says Jeezy Treasy, number 1. Yeah, for sure. That did, I agree with you. That did cook Blaney's tires a little bit. So that pit stop was huge there. Him not getting out in that pit stop the way that some other guys got out was a huge thing. Everyone will be saving at the pump since Logano won the championship. Indeed, they will. Indeed, we're saving at the pump, bro. I don't have anything against the 22, but the system is completely broken, says James Burns. I feel like that's probably going to be the most popular answer to a lot of or that's probably going to be the most popular opinion of a lot of people right now. I don't think anybody, I'm not going to say anybody. I don't think a lot of people are hating on Joey Logano. I think a lot of people are really hating on the system. They just don't really like the way that this system plays out nowadays. So it's going to be interesting to see if NASCAR listens to that and tweaks it in the offseason, or if they bury their head in the sand and keep doing what they're doing and they're just going to let the fans vote with their viewership. It'll be interesting to see because I do think it's gotten to a point now where I'm going to keep watching regardless, but I think a lot of fans will start voting with their viewership if there's at least not some tweaks to the championship system. BB, do you miss NASCAR once the season is over? There is a point I get to in the season where I'm ready for it to be over. And then probably 2 weeks into the off season, I'm like, oh man, I'm so bored. I want something to do. And that's just with all racing, period. And there's various points to that in the late model season. Like late model season, when it first starts to get hot, you're like, I'm so over standing in this heat. So there's phases of it throughout the whole year for sure. Where do you live? Bologna Burger says Ego Waffle Mats. I live in North Carolina, so that's where I'm at. Let's see. Hocevar winning Rookie of the Year made me think about how long it's been since a rookie won a race. I think this new car has brought things so close it's nearly impossible for a rookie to win, says James Williamson. I think this car is just so much different than what most people are used to driving. I think the exception to this is probably going to be Connor Zilic. So there's going to be a few out there that adapt to it pretty quickly. Hocevar adapted to it pretty quickly. So those are going to be the guys that have a chance to sort of do that. But other than that, it's going to be few and far between. It's going to take, like they say, about 100 starts before you start seeing some wins from these younger guys. I think this season will be on much over the offseason. I will be on in the offseason at least every Tuesday, but stay tuned because we might have some more content, at least as far as live streams go, other than the Tuesdays. I'm playing with some things right now. Really bad day for McDowell. His final front row motorsports race came in having a top 10 last two Phoenix races, but finishes 31st today. Yeah, they had some type of problem early on. And at least a speeding penalty. I don't really have anything to say other than hi. What's up, Lovey Barkley? I'll say hi back. What's up, Lovey? Fiery Dragon, Delmer Kaufman, are you related to the bad guy? Says Fiery Dragon. What do you think about the fourth manufacturer is going to be? Says MGM. Probably Honda would be my guess. Connor Hall, winner at Hickory for Junior Motorsports. There you go. So one race and one win in the Junior Connor Hall combination. Kraus has had his best finish of the season today, says Team FT. So yeah, old Derek Kraus was in the race today. So got a good finish, best finish of his season. So good for him. The ZL1 have those pushing problems too. Bumpers just don't like anybody. I agree. That's probably the biggest problem with them is that the super speedways, and now it tracks like Atlanta and stuff like that act like super speedways. The big advantage Logano has is his maturity. People forget he's been at war with Harvick, Stewart, you name it, Hamlin, and Busch. He took the hazing and turned it into rock solid maturity, says E. Damon Racing. That's a good point. He's been racing a lot. He seems like a young guy, but he's been racing for a long time. Ty Gibbs is going to be another guy in that particular vein, I think, when he gets up to speed. What's up with Ty Gibbs? Will he turn things around next season? I think so. I think he probably had a good car today. He just, whatever happened, he made a mistake there. Logano and rock solid maturity. I got you. I figured out what you meant there, E. Damon. Autocorrect messes me up too, so I try to get in there and fix them up for you guys when I see them. I was drinking Busch out of my Camelback and tried hanging in, but the carbon monoxide revving my engine for 4 hours against the garage wall made me sick and had a huge headache. I was just trying to feel it, says John P. There you go. Make sure the garage is well ventilated next time you want to feel the heat of the engine as you listen to the race on MRN and watch it on the big screen that you, of course, laid across your window. Jordan B saying 3 is huge, but being 15th in points is going into the round of 4 makes it very Mickey Mouse, says Jordan B. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think people should really hate on Joey Logano, but they definitely should have some thoughts about the system. Is this the best system? And obviously the answer to that is no going forward. So NASCAR needs to tweak it. NASCAR needs to pull their head out of the sand and definitely tweak it. Motocross, Supercross points are legit. I'd recommend checking out that format of racing, says Ryan Fussner. I can't believe that nothing but crap had to look over the fact that Martin Truex Jr. retired today and Stuart Haas ended their Cup Series because they were too concerned about 4 cars out there, says William Wagman. Yeah, so they tried to cover it a little bit in the pre-race, but I'm with you. I'm surprised, especially with some of the leads that were had at points in this race. They could have gone back in the pack and thrown a camera on the Stewart Haas cars. I don't remember them saying anything about Stewart Haas. That's probably the craziest part. They did say a couple things about Martin Truex Jr., but it was interesting. I agree with you 100%. BB, when is our first day of off season testing? Tomorrow, my friend. You gotta wake up and rise and grind, right? That's what they say. I find it hilarious that NASCAR owns right at the crack of noon. I find it hilarious that NASCAR owns IMSA, which has season-long format, yet they won't use it for NASCAR despite people wanting them to do it and hating the playoffs, but NASCAR will NASCAR. Indeed. Indeed. I don't disagree with you one bit. If Truex makes the 500, he will add one more race to his consecutive start streak. Oh, so there you go. He will, of course, for 2311. They've already announced that he's going to run Daytona, so he will add to the consecutive start streak. So that's a thing that will keep going. What's the pace car driver? Was the pace car driver high when he hits the water barrel? Says William Wagman. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out that one. Like, you had one job, man, one job with full season point system after the first race. Like after the first 15 races, every race is an elimination race. Do the math. Says like this, like, yeah, that's a fair statement for sure. Brian saying, are we going to just let Austin Cindric be champion next year? Logano was the best in the playoffs, and that's all that matters now. Says Brian. Yeah, so that's the system, and I don't know. Just make your voice heard. Hopefully NASCAR will listen to it if you don't like the system. If you do like the system, make your voice heard and let NASCAR know about it as well, I guess. But this system is not my favorite. But that being said, you can't take the championship away from Logano because he did what he was supposed to do at the beginning of the season. Since Vegas, it's played into Logano's hands, says one wise guy. Yeah, and I don't know if it plays into his hands or if this is just how Penske sort of has it laid out every single season. It's hard to say because it's if you win 3 in a row, it's not oh, we just lucked into 3 in a row. It's hard to say that, right? So BB Live just gotten extension. Sources tell me, says in between the lanes. BB, thanks for what you do. Appreciate you there, B. Ego Waffle Maple, still at it, my friend. You need new mods. Are they paid? Let's see. The championship is a joke, but kudos to Joey and Blaney for exposing it. I agree. Like, I don't think a lot of people like this particular system, so I agree. Hopefully, this is enough to get at least some changes to it. But I don't know. NASCAR, they just kind of do what they want. So I'm not holding my breath or anything like that. There's a history video coming soon. Says PC Gone Rogue. Eventually this year it is coming. I've got a couple in the. There's one that's really close to being done. So. And that will technically be a history video. Rest in peace to Bobby Allison, says Brian. Indeed. Lost a great one in Bobby Allison, no doubt about it. Blunderberger, we still have NHRA next weekend and Formula One season to finish out the year up here in PA. Next weekend at Baps Motor Speedway, they have the final sprint car race and modified. Yeah, I'm pretty sure sprint cars just go all year round. They've always got something going on. Make me a mod, says Fiery Dragon. BB, we're going to need updates on the 32 and 11 and front row court cases for the next few months. So if you're new to the channel, I go all year round. I don't stop. So the regular videos will continue, and the live stream, at least on Tuesday, will also continue. How about that, Joey Logano, says Jamie Schweitzer? Yeah, Joey did what he had to do today. No doubt about it. He's the best. When he got the lead, and Ryan Blaney only had a few laps left, I was like, if Ryan Blaney doesn't put the bumper to him, there's a really good chance that he's not getting around there. Oh my God, just realized Jimmy got 26 and beat the 42, 3, 7, 14, 34, and 47. He's probably going to party harder than Joey tonight, says Say Kyle. So yeah, Jimmy Johnson getting a decent, respectable finish for him in Legacy this year. We'll say that. John P. BB, my weenies in a blanket were horrible today. My dad pulled me out of the garage after stage 2, apparent carbon monoxide poisoning. I said, do it for BP. Give me a piece of bologna. I'm good now, baby, says John P. Martin Truex Jr. got a nice round of applause from the drivers during the drivers meeting. He did. I saw that on Instagram, so that was really cool. I think I posted it in the Discord, but I can't remember. NHRA is the premature of racing, says 1400 next gen. Let's see. Fiery Dragon is in search of love in all the wrong places. No fine girls. Just let's see. Never a doubt One of 10 people on Earth ever to win 3 NASCAR ever, says Jamie Schweitzer. Talking about Jolo there. What track are we meeting at? Charlotte. Which manufacturer are we testing for? Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. So we can't practice at NASCAR tracks. So we'll have to go to non-sanctioned tracks like what they call outlaw tracks. So like Ace Speedway, Orange County, tracks like that are the ones around here that you would go to that are non-NASCAR sanctioned. VLR would be another one. Just watching an interview. VLR's just watching an interview guy, but needs to gain about pounds because he does not look healthy. He is a small dude, but I think he's in pretty good shape. I don't know. We'll see. I think he was just dejected because he didn't win the championship. How can 2311 afford to run a third car at Daytona? According to Denny, they aren't making any money. Well, they're just gonna because Mike. I'll tell you how. Because Michael Jordan just wants to, and Michael Jordan's a billionaire, so he's gonna do it. 10,000 more to me. Thanks, Joey, says Jamie Schweitzer. Team FT. Wow, NBM only made 3 Xfinity starts this year, at least under Long. Might have had some under owner, but the 13 in Cup seems like they might be focusing more on the Cup car now. Could be. I think they just go sort of wherever the money takes them. Would be my guess. Yeah, I noticed Blaney looks very skinny. Dude needs a burger immediately. I give that young man a burger. Says 1,400 horsepower next gen. Alabama gang is dying off. Guess life goes on. It is unfortunate. It's a sad day. Good thing it was oil dry instead of water barrel. Break out them wet weather tires, says Aaron Flynn. JJ just finishing a race is a win for them, says Shaw. Junior was so happy Saturday night winning the championship. He was. Jimmy was just outside of the top 20 at one point. Must have been on the pit strategy because the next time I looked, he was 2 laps down. Joey Logano 2026, count on it, says Charlotte. So there you go. Charlotte's already calling the 2026 championship for Logano. I may have to forfeit my U.S. citizenship for saying this, but I think the F1 point system would be the best for Cup. Okay, now I'm going to puke and pretend I didn't say that, says Say Kyle. They do have a pretty good point system. I like the EPL, the English Premier League. I like their point system as well, but it wouldn't really translate over to the NASCAR Cup Series. F1 points would be better than what we have now. I just like them because they have a table where if you don't produce, you get relegated to another league. I do like the idea of relegating teams that don't perform. Let's see. Thanks for F1 would be better than what we have now, says Next Gen. Thanks for the great season here, Baloney Burger. You really do good job, buddy, and we appreciate all of it. Even better job in a year where Joey wins, says E. Damon. A 40-car field today has that happened often this year? We've had a few of them, but it's not obviously not as often as it used to happen back in the day. Earth 2, Baby Gibbs won that race, says Jamie Schweitzer. Indeed, Baby Gibbs wins on Earth 2. Good grief, say Cal, do you want me to throw up? You want me to throw up, don't you, says William Wagaman. Mark Langren saying bottom of a first-tier driver wins because of Paul Wolf. So Mark Langren giving the old Chad Knaus treatment, saying Paul Wolf wins these races, not the driver. Blaney's beard probably weighs 5 pounds, so just needs to grow. Just needs to grow it longer, says Shaw. Paul Wolf, Kawicki's secret weapon, says Mark Langren. E. Damon agreed, says Rosie. I'd love to congratulate Larson on his championship. Oh wait, my bad, says Stranger. The Stranger, keep the channel up. I love baloney and slapping it on me during the race season. I slap baloney on me, and my dog licks it. Licks me all night to sleep. She loves the mustard too. Hey, there you go. Whatever keeps you going there, John P. Always with the good post there. I think Brandon Brown ever gets another shot now that a certain political season is over. Dude got screwed. Best day of his life turned into the worst day of his life. I hope he gets another shot. For sure. Just unfortunate what happened to him. No doubt about it. Lance Stroll was driving the pace car, says the Stranger. That's a good one. That's a good dig there. Texans are kicking the Lions' butt, says PC Gone Rogue. Oh man, I was not expecting that. So that's interesting. Premier League would 100% translate with the Hardy that NASCAR has for stick and ball comparisons. Oh, I got you. I feel you there, Charlotte. PC Gone Rogue. I'm watching that game too since I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. I watched NASCAR since 1971. Never seen a pace car cause a red flag, says Jamie Schweitzer. If it has, I don't remember it either. I'm with you. Glad to see Ford win, says Colorado Car Dude. Yeah, and It's their third championship in a row for the Cup Series and second championship in a row in the Truck Series. They were foiled in the Xfinity Series by Chevrolet and Justin Allgaier, but good to see Justin Allgaier win over there. Russell Dominguez laughing so hard he's crying. The pace car crashing was hilarious. Yeah, that's going to be an all-timer on a blooper reel. Hello, 911. His name is John P. Says Sekal. I met Allgaier at Waffle House right outside of Talladega in 2021. I was blown away with how short he was, says Jordan B. He is slight in stature, but he's got a ton of talent. So he makes up for it sitting in that race car. He's a giant when he's in there. Earth 2, there's no fencing at tracks and unrestricted engines at every track. Free food and beer at the track. Enter at your own risk, says 1400 power next gen. Yeah, sort of just like you pay for your ticket and there's just a buffet. The ticket is the price of the buffet. Do we know who's driving the pace car, by the way? I don't think they've released that information just yet. The pace car is bigger than Montoya. Is bigger than the Montoya instance? That's a good question. We'll save that poll question for Tuesday. I'll put it out. I'll put it out there. It's going to be, I'm going to be so embarrassed right now. I wrecked the slow moving pace car. And then to make it worse, I smashed into the pit safer barrier and look out. Yeah. Once he realized he was past it, you just got to eat it and do another pace lap and just be done with it. So yeah, he major beef there. He beefed it. Can we all collectively say that Joey won the championship and deserved to be there too? I mean, under this system, he did what you got to do under this system. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with he didn't deserve to be there because he knew the system. They all knew the system. You can win 10 races before the regular season ends, and you can still get knocked out in the first round. That's just the system. So by the system, like he 100% deserved to be there. I think what everybody needs to focus on is not who won the championship. People need to focus on, we don't like this system, and this is why we don't like this system, and then list out the reasons why you don't like the system. Because as soon as you mention Joey Logano's name, you're going to lose all credibility because their comeback for that is going to be, you're just saying that because you don't like Joey Logano. Okay, so that's why, just leave the Joey Logano side of it out and just say, I don't agree with this system. Hopefully they change it next year if you don't like the system. So there you go. And Mark Langren immediately saying F no, disagreeing with my entire take there. He did it within the rules of the system, says Charlotte. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Pace car driver was texting while driving, says Delmer Kaufman. I've never been more convinced that I could drive a pace car professionally, says Say Kyle. Hey, if you can drive what you're driving, you can definitely drive a pace car, brother. Charlotte saying, is the system the one we should have in place? Is a different conversation. And we're all bots. Hey, there you go. We're all bots because we don't like the system. Don't forget that. We are definitely all bots. Joey exposed the system. Tip my hat to the guy, is very good at sandbagging. There you go. That's a good take on it. Next gen. Penske altogether they've just figured the system out better than anybody else. Will there be a NASCAR next year? There will be a NASCAR next year, but I'll be interested to see what the ratings are if they don't at least tweak this system. Jamie F. No, says William Wagman. Stop. I just don't like Joey Logano. Darlington, never forget, says Say Kyle. I got you. Full stop. Say Kyle just does not like Joey Logano because of Darlington. Just put to rest whether or not Joey deserved the win in the system. I guarantee you, if the system were the old one, he'd still be in the same place. No one's better at optimizing NASCAR as it is, says E. Damon. And that's what I'm saying. If there's a different system, they're going to drive differently too. D commercials, says Mark Langren. Ask Harvick about winning 10 races and not being crowned champ. Bad system, in the conversation, says the stranger. And that's a fair argument to make if you just look at who literally had the best season statistically by any other measure other than the playoff format we have now. If you want to take away this playoff system, which I think probably at this point, the vast majority of fans at least want it changed. Also under this system, we've had Crafton be a winless champ, and Daniel Hemrick was really close to being a winless champ. He won the final race of the year, I think the year he won his, and that was the only race he won. Cannot blame the system. It's an even number year. Logano was locked in by the gods, says Shah. That's a fair point, Shah. So no matter what happened, it was an even year, and Joey Logano was at least going to finish second or third in points. So that's fair. That's fair. That's just death taxes, even years for Joey Logano. Just things you can count on. How about a full season points? NASCAR just puts a charge of C4 in every engine bay. and one is actually live. $3 at a random live charge detonates and NASCAR gets their entertainment. Hey, there you go. We got to do something to spice this sport up. We need more entertainment. Junior had a good night. Says Mark Langren, wins don't make a real champion. It's all about highest average finish in 36 races. Says Next Gen, I'm going to start preparing for 2026. Says Lovey Barkley. So he's as a Logano fan, he's just going to sit out 2025 because he knows that's going to be a pain year. All right, poll question. Show me on the Batman which is the best option. Happy with the race, 34%. Good race, bad system, 30%. Bad race, bad system, 28%. And I don't like Joey Logano, so I'm just hating in 4K is at 8%. So 8%, it's picked up 1 percentage point of just don't like Joey Logano with 93 votes in. All right, looks like we've reached the end of the chat. So I'll get ready to make the video for tomorrow and check you guys on Tuesday. Till then, peace.